Tonight, ladies and gentlemen, make sure you have pen and paper because I'm going to explain to you something that you weren't aware of.
Hey, all you cool cats and kittens.
I told you I was going to throw up.
Oh, I love it. I love it.
It's going to be a very special episode of Tinfoil Radio. We are talking about Tiger King.
Is it that special, though?
It's
really
a
get
very
special
special.
from the first couple episodes, but, whatever.
I thought it was outstanding. Hey, guys. Paul Robidoux here.
Loud Sports own.
Crossover.
I thought it was outstanding. Hey, guys.
Here to join. I loved what you did this week for Loud Sports Conspiracies,
Awesome.
and I'm jumping on for Tinfoil Radio. Tiger King. I couldn't
I was
get enough of
disappointed
it.
you weren't here the other night. I was like, I finally get to do a podcast with Paul, and he's nowhere to be found.
It's
pissed.
I wanted it to be your conspiracy theories, but we'll have you back for the draft
I
time.
appreciate it. Yes.
And we'll do a big one.
We got to do more of these.
There's a lot of quarantine time on my hands, and I got
Exactly.
mock drafting like a crazed monkey.
Paul's schedule is not as heavy with no sports.
One of
so
those
it's
ones
just
that-
actually working out where we can actually do these crossovers.
That's right.
So
Yes.
I'm actually having fun doing both.
Awesome.
Like this. So
I think
I'm
I
excited
think
to
that
have
was
you
a
on.
backhanded, despite Tyler.
He
I'm having
does
fun
this
doing
every
both.
episode. I like you, buddy. We're friends.
It's
Calm
one of those
down,
monkeys
man.
that's like in a cocaine study. Like, feed him more cocaine and see if he does this. Like, that's how I feel. About
I'm
this
getting
show.
worried because I feel like that's the second or third time you've mentioned cocaine on this show.
Well,
Not
is
gonna-
it a conspiracy theory show?
Not
without
gonna be.
cocaine?
Hey, not gonna be the last.
That's
buddy.
true. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, would we be talking about exotic animals being owned without cocaine?
Yeah, wasn't there cocaine
There's
involved? I
meth.
have no idea.
There was definitely cocaine
There was
involved.
that one dude.
A few
the
characters
drug dealer-
specifically
the
had
drug dealer
cocaine.
who says that he's Tony Montana's.
He says, "Yeah,
Avatar.
I'm basically I was
The movie was
the
the-
basis
I
for
crossed my
Scarface."
eyes so hard, I think I fucking gave myself an aneurysm when he said that.
So let's start. That's
Yes.
towards the beginning. But Tiger
Right.
King, we open with the fact
Well-
that there's more privately owned tigers in the United States than in the wild in the world.
Oh, and the fact that, I mean, it comes a little bit later, but you can get a tiger for $2,000, dude,
Yeah.
which is insane.
Uh-huh.
That is insane.
Yeah, plus shipping and handling.
Yeah, but
Which is
this
their travel fee, because they'll
Shipping is like $12. The handling is like $800 because I could lose my fucking arm.
yeah.
okay. So,
So-
before we start talking about
UPS is kind of strict.
the show itself,
Ooh, can I say one thing real quick?
Well,
Okay.
I wanted to.
Yeah, go for it. Go.
See, that's how I stop him in his tracks. No, what did you want to say?
Excuse me. So at one point, Joe's talking on one of his things on his news, interviews, and he's
Yeah.
talking about how he started doing the zoo because he wanted to talk to kids about the rainforest. Now, when most of you think of the rainforest, I think of South America, right? Now, I understand there's rainforests in Asia too, right?
Uh-huh.
But what
Yeah.
are we talking about? What is he probably talking about? Probably South America, right?
I guess.
If that's the case, then the dumb motherfucker doesn't even know that tigers don't exist in fucking South America, guys. Okay.
Okay, so
Strictly Asian. Somebody was trying to tell me there's Nigerian tigers. I'm like, are you a fucking knob? No. Sorry. Okay.
I feel like I have heard about Nigerian tigers though.
I don't know.
Siberian tigers, maybe is what I was
Yeah.
thinking.
Wow. There's a
I think they're
Big
limited to
difference, I
Asia.
guess.
like a
Yeah.
million miles.
Yeah. White and black. Those are
I'm
cool.
sorry. I'm
Snow
sorry.
tigers, snow leopards.
I'm not familiar with those regions. I have terrible geography.
2 cents. I'm done.
Anyway, I wanted to talk about. It was Paul who put me onto this because I've seen a couple memes here and there, but I didn't know how big of a deal it was until you told me about it.
Yeah, I started watching it on Twitter, live tweeting about it. I was up till like 3 a.m. drinking wine watching Tiger King and
This is such a perfect time for this to come
and
out.
tweeting. Yeah.
During a
shout out.
pandemic.
Yeah, shout out Netflix for giving us the good stuff when we really need it.
Oh, yeah.
But I love how it opens with just talking to Joe's handlers. I was grabbed immediately because there's a woman who actually
Oh, my God. That woman?
identifies as a man.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, I
knew
didn't-
I knew he.
He identifies as a man, was born
They
a
kept
woman,
calling her she
and has one arm.
after she loses her arm.
Mm-hmm. Has one arm. There's a guy who is missing both legs at the knee.
Right, but not because of tigers.
Right. Yeah. He goes, "You guys
Oh
think
my
it's from the
God,
tigers?
dude,
No, this is zip
But it
lining."
was a zip line accident. I bet you he was high.
Yeah, that dude is addicted to adrenaline because you see in the final episode, he is now living in a trailer in a shed where he fixes go-karts and little like speed cars to race on dirt tracks in Oklahoma. And so this dude is
Talk
just
about niche fucking employment, man.
yeah, he's got no problem. He's just one of those guys that knows how to do everything with WD-40 and duct tape. And
Yeah,
he's just
a dude that can
he
fix
can do it
anything.
all.
Yeah.
Listen, Mr. Stark, I know you know all about the Iron Man armor and shit, but I also know that you have a little shitty little speedy little car that needs to drive on dirt roads in Oklahoma. I got just the fucking engineer for you, guy.
He's the guy. He's the guy.
Because you are the Iron Man, but Oklahoma dirt track.
And then you follow that up with, you know what he was doing before this? Fucking working with Joe Exotic and Tigers.
losing his
Yeah.
teeth.
Oh, and then the first person to really start explaining things is his former full-time producer.
Yeah.
The guy who I really connected with this guy off the bat.
I did too.
Yes and no.
He's kind of empathetic. He's kind of like I was there. I captured it all, but I wasn't one of them. I watched this stuff spiral.
Yeah, he was above it.
As
That's
he's
what he-
chain-smoking cigarettes.
Right, but then
In
the
a
other,
black
the other thing
cowboy
is,
hat.
Right, every time they show him like in his own videos of like when he was their producer,
Uh-huh.
he is very self-serving, or he is very sycophantic, and like, oh yeah, I can't believe you're back at work after getting your arms.
He's almost constantly breaking the fourth wall,
Yeah,
from a documentary standpoint when he's on his camera, because he's turning talking to the camera saying, "Can you believe this?" or "Man, this throne is heavy," because when they carried the throne for Joe to sit in.
I thought you were talking metaphorically. Okay.
Yeah, but so I've also found out since watching that he now.
We'll get
Oh,
to
we'll
that.
save
get
that. We'll
Yeah,
save
yeah,
that.
we'll get to that.
Okay. We'll save the producer's
Yeah.
backstory, but
So-
he was very interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So most of this, we're going to be jumping around a lot. This is just Paul and I have held off having
Jump around.
this discussion for like weeks now. So
We're gonna try to go as chronologically as
Can't
possible.
we get down?
yeah, and Tyler
Yeah.
did exactly what I thought he would.
What?
He watched one episode and was like,
I
I
watched
got
like
it.
two. There's one episode that starts with the Tony Montana dude.
He did.
Yeah,
he did
episode
what I-
2's
he-
about
he did what I
introducing
said he
Carol
would.
So maybe
stuff.
I just watched. Okay.
No, he did what I said he would. He watched like 2 or 3 episodes, and then he went on Wikipedia and read the synopsis for
No, I
every other
didn't.
episode.
No.
My-
I
my
didn't get that far.
My stream of consciousness of meeting characters in the first 2 episodes.
Yeah.
The first person they get you through the intro, the first 5 minutes of the park, where the first scene that they show footage from is where the employee lost his arm,
Yeah.
and Joe immediately puts
Oh my
on an
God.
EMS blazer.
Oh my God! This.
Oh
sequence.
yeah.
and he goes in. He goes, "Folks, we just had somebody get their arm."
Before
bitten."
you
I'm gonna
get
be
on the
honest
news,
with you.
y'all.
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest with
Listen,
you.
I'm gonna be
I
hon-
can either
listen.
reimburse you or give you
A cupcake.
gift cards for next time or something. And he immediately was
credit.
just like, yeah, he was
I
like,
can give you lifetime memberships to the GW.
And then when they
Greater
hang the shot,
Winewood Preservation Lodge and Arrowhead Stable, where I keep lots of Indian
where
artifacts.
are you going with this?
I will never financially recover
Listen,
from this.
yeah, right.
There's so many memeable moments
Listen,
from that show, but that
just-
was the first one. That
dude,
was like 10 minutes
The
in.
best,
yeah.
the best meme for that scenario.
Do you wear this underwear? No, man. I go commando.
forgot about
Really?
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, we'll get there. We'll get
Yeah,
there.
balls out.
But the meme is dads when they see that the lights are on.
Yeah. I will never financially recover. Dads, when they come home from work, 3 lights are on, nobody's in the rooms, and the door's open.
Yeah, I will never financially recover from this.
That was good. But the first outside character that you meet after like those scenes is Doc Antle. And you're like, and
dude.
I'm stealing this, but I'm not going to say where from. I've never seen a guy that is more obviously an orgy guy than Doc Antle.
He totally
Soul
is.
patch, white ponytail, free love. He's a free
He
love
doesn't
kind of
care.
guy.
He orders baby oil by the gallon, by the drum.
There is not a bed. It is a carpet-filled room with beanbags.
He's actually progressive, though. He doesn't care. Men, women, he doesn't care. He
yeah,
does
throw it
everybody.
all in
He's
there.
a dirty
Big
man.
cats.
Yeah.
Oh, I mean,
He has definitely had sex
He is leading
next
a cult.
to a cat. Oh, he is. I don't know.
We'll get to this.
He's very predatory. Because episode 2 almost starts with somebody in
Dude.
Ames, Iowa,
Dude,
who used to be working
heard
for
about
Doc.
this.
we're burying the lead because the first
For
episode,
Doc Antle.
Yeah.
Okay.
the first episode gave us "I Saw a Tiger."
I saw
a tiger.
Tiger saw man.
Glorious.
Oh my god!
I saw a video, a
you
Mizzou
seen-
football hype video set to I Saw a Tiger that worked a little too perfectly.
For what team was it?
Missouri Tigers.
Oh, my
Tigers.
God, that's fucking great. That's fucking
No,
great.
yeah, I'm surprised that Auburn
I'm
hasn't
disappointed
done
there's
it.
not Tigers in the NFL.
I'm surprised Clemson
Bengals.
hasn't done it.
Yeah, there's
All the Tiger teams.
yeah, but do you want to do that though? Do you want to associate with this? And I bet you you're gonna get a letter from Joe
there's the
for the
first one.
rights.
It's called I
He
Saw
would
a
be the guy
Tiger.
to sue.
The second one is called Spotlight, and there's 28 songs and 16 videos.
and he will go to his grave. Like, he will apologize for putting out the hit. He will say, I made some bad decisions.
Listen,
He will go to
I
his
just
grave
wanna let
saying that
y'all
was
know-
him singing.
before you hear it on the news, I ordered a hit on this lady. Now, we're not going to keep the park open. I can give you rain checks. I'll never recover from this financially.
He will never quit saying that he's singing those.
No, he will take that to the
He's
grave
what?
for sure.
Seeing ghosts?
No, that he's
Singing the
singing the
songs.
songs.
Oh.
But he's not. But I love that it goes
It's
from
clearly not him.
it goes from him
Yeah.
to some actors, and then there's husband number 1, the day one, the bend down, that guy that's been with him for years, Mr. Meth Mouth.
Dude
Shirtless.
without the shirt.
Yeah,
Shirtless.
the one
I
who's
don't
always
understand.
shirtless.
I don't understand people who are just like, I can't wear a shirt.
I
You
gotta
mean like
sit down.
Tom Hanks'
These
son
nipples
on
are
Twitter?
really sensitive, and like any cloth, I just literally pop a chub. I can't. No shirt.
So I loved the. I
my
noticed
guess.
in the first, all of his tattoos are really thick
Right.
ink, and they're not filled in. They look like child art.
He's hairy.
And I noticed coming down off of his shoulder on his collarbone, I was like, is that an alligator? And it is, which will play into the story later
I'm willing
when
to
he got a
bet-
tattoo of a dead pet. Spoiler alert.
I'm willing to bet that he has a friend who really wants to be a tattoo artist. Hey man, can I practice on you?
I think that's most men in Oklahoma.
I don't want to make fun of the guy's appearance,
what.
but I'm
I
just
was
saying
hoping
that
that- okay.
I feel like you could tell that they did frame him up that way.
I've never seen Council Bluffs in a photo so well as him.
Well, that, and I think that I
See
definitely
me.
think it was an intentional choice to have him be shirtless.
Oh yeah, no, the producers.
The producers totally
The
did that, yeah.
director who you get to see, you don't know it right away, but that guy who in the second scene they show the footage of Doc being like, "Hey, do you want to get me at the front door?" And we say,
Oh
hello,
yeah.
again.
No.
And then he says, "You know what I love about Doc
He's
is
a
that
better director than we
he's
are."
such a better director than me."
No, my favorite.
That's the guy behind all of this.
That's all of these people are self-important fucking shitheads.
Oh, yeah,
They-
they're terrible people.
They think that they're directors because Joe doesn't even think of himself as an animal wrangler.
No.
He thinks of himself as a
He
personality.
only cared about his fucking show
both-
on the internet.
Yeah, it was his production
They both
show.
got tigers in cages, and they're both making money off of tigers.
And they
both hate each
and
other
including
because
Carol,
of
they
the
all
different
have
reasons that they have for doing it.
They all have streams. They all have audiences. They've gotten the
They're
fame and they want
invested
more.
financially. I will
Dude,
never recover from this.
I saw this. This happened organically on my Facebook.
Orgasm.
But we all know how organic, in air quotes, the internet works. But there was a legit video from Big Cat Rescue that popped up on my Facebook. And it was the husband, Carol Baskin's husband, who was just like trashing the documentary.
The alive one?
Yeah. The one she didn't kill?
You know, because of an Iowa State Twitter page, they have now shut off their auto reply to the word donate because he tricked their Facebook page saying if Carol Baskins killed her husband, reply to this and I will donate $1,000. And they replied like immediately, an auto reply, and he tweeted back just at FBI. And they turned it off. They turned off their auto reply.
FBI.
We haven't even gotten to Carol Baskins.
Yeah, we'll get
No,
there. So
but
Oh my
she's a
gosh.
piece of
I wanted
shit,
to
too.
kind of talk about his music career there because it gets introduced.
Mm.
And I think there's honestly a point.
You know, he pushed them to that. The second
yeah.
cameras and producers, he was like, "You guys see my CDs?
Absolutely.
Hey, make sure that they're playing. Okay, make sure my songs are playing."
He was so addicted to fame and that idea of fame that of course he would indulge in that and be like, look at my cool shit I did. But, you know, we all know it's bad, but in his eyes it's fucking great. And it's just so funny that this happens inside of this because the story itself was strange. But then you throw in the fact that he ran for president, which we'll get to,
So many things.
or the fact that he's a music artist
He's not though.
when he's not, because that's not him singing at all.
No.
And
No.
he's married to two
He's not playing
dudes,
the
and there's
guitar.
just so much more to this. But
There's a lot. There is a lot. We do.
it's
have
such
to,
a strange
you know,
detour.
It tells you a lot about Joe that he started doing magic for children
Yeah.
as like a DARE program. And
Yeah.
before he brought the animals into his
You know,
now kids.
people
who
like
don't
that.
do
I gotta
drugs.
be honest. Joe Exotic.
That's when
when
he's
you
talking
were
about the
starting to
rainforest
do those
stuff.
DARE programs. I really think if you had just settled down and just smoked a fat doobie, and then did like a speedball and went out on the town and got fucked up,
Jesus.
I'm willing to bet that you'd be like, wake up the next day and you'd be like, I don't really want to tell people not to do drugs and alcohol
He
because
was-
I had a blast last
But
night.
he was doing drugs and then going out and doing that.
Yeah,
And so
exactly.
he was like
That's not far
he
off.
would do coke and then go do the no drugs.
Oh, dude.
Dude, his first husband, he was
Listen,
feeding
you
him
guys.
meth.
I don't know if you
For
know
like
about
10 years.
but
Yeah.
But there is an alternate universe where this documentary was one 50-minute show on Animal Planet about Big Cat Rescue shutting down a guy taking tiger cubs from mall to mall. Because that's what it was, and that's all it was.
Yeah,
And
that's
then
right.
once he got land and really started investing in the growth and keeping these animals, that's when it all got out of control and Joe became Joe Exotic. You know, and we have to talk about the confidence of that man's eyebrow ring hanging by one
Just
strand of thread
just
of
dangling
hair
there.
and skin. Impressive. Also impressive is bullet hole tattoos on his chest. I loved those. I want some.
Oh
I-
my god,
yeah.
I forgot
Those
about
were
the
sexy.
bullet hole.
There's so much to
tattoos.
forget about because there's so much going on.
Oh yeah. Did you rewatch it?
I rewatched about half of it. Yeah.
Thank God
Yeah.
you did, because you're just putting things together
Yeah,
that I
I'm like,
totally
what?
forgot about.
There's so much though. There's so much. So let's get into what was billed as the whole show, which was basically like 3/4 of 2 episodes, which was Murder for Hire on Carol Baskins. Now, Carol Baskins, let's talk here.
let's talk.
Ooh, yeah, let's go on this journey. 'Cause this is
saw
fun.
She
Because Tyler doesn't know
Anybody
anything
anybody
about
that
this.
says, oh yes I do. Anybody that says, I mean I've seen stuff about it
Yeah.
other than just the actual show. But one of the things is if you're somebody who's bragging about being a staunch ally of PETA, you've automatically lost all credibility with me, just right off the bat. And And again, the most hypocritical thing, and I know you guys are going to
To
touch
her,
on
that's
this.
legitimization.
Oh
though.
yeah, because that means mainstream. That's mainstream appeal. Or
You've heard of
mainstream-
this? Yeah, I work
Yeah,
with
exactly. But my favorite is the minute that you meet her, she's in a cage, talking about how tigers shouldn't be in cages, and right behind her is a fucking tiger in a fucking cage. And then the people are like, Carol Baskin is my hero. And then the lady talking to her is like, this is like the Ritz-Carlton of like animal preserves, and like I think you just do such a great job. I'm like, first of all, I know you've never been to the Ritz-Carlton. I can just tell by looking at you.
Right.
So you don't know what you're talking about. A and B, there's literally one of those ladies during that whole segment when she's walking through the line to wait to get into Big Cat whatever rescue,
Yeah.
and that one lady is talking to the camera and she's like, she's giving them lives worth living. She's giving them a place to live until they die.
She has brainwashed people that
Oh,
want,
absolutely.
People want to find.
What's the fucking difference?
Well, they want
There
the white
isn't.
knight. They want
Right.
somebody to look
And-
up to
and
in
that's the
this
thing.
industry. And Carol is the easiest pill to swallow, and she presents herself as
But
look
she's
at the
so-
pictures of me on
the people
Capitol
that
Hill.
go to, yeah.
But she's so fucking self-righteous.
Oh,
it is
God, yes.
ridiculous.
Yeah, sure. She lost
one of
her
that
sense of
sentiment.
like
You
self.
honestly, of
Any
the
of the-
three of
yeah.
them, I think Doc is probably the worst.
Doc is
he's
the
running
most
a
straight
cult.
up. He's the most
running
straight
a
up.
cult.
He's the most manipulative. He's the most calculating.
I don't know.
Which
Paul-
I
He's
don't
the guy
like.
that did it. And has done it. I mean, come on. Look
but
at
Carol almost killed. But
Joe
Carol,
crashed and burned in 20 years.
But Carol
Yeah.
killed her husband. So then
Whoa,
maybe,
whoa.
Oh, we're getting ahead of ourselves, aren't we?
Hang on a second.
Allegedly
But Carol
didn't kill her husband.
is
Allegedly.
Carol's the worst. Like that during that whole.
I think she
segment
might
I'm
be the
talking
worst
about,
character in the
there's-
whole thing.
There's
Yeah.
not one. There's not one honest sentiment spoken at all. Like every one of those people is saying what they're saying because they want to feel and want people.
wanna feel
view
important.
them
Yeah.
as heroes.
Right.
Now the people who go to Joe's thing and the people who go to Carol's thing are no different except
No.
for their motivations. Now the people that go to Joe's are the people who generally probably kind of stay kind of on the right. I just want to have fun, man. What's wrong with having fun, man? I just want to go see some tigers, man. What's wrong with tigers being in a
Dude.
zoo, man?
But
And-
dude,
and the people that
you
go
would
to
pet a
Carol's
tiger if you
are the
could,
people
though, right?
who generally vote to the
Oh, yeah.
left and are like, that's just wrong what Joe's doing. Let's
Right.
go look at some tigers in cages.
It's about how, where.
Same
It's like a
fucking
it's like a
thing.
What you wanna
keyboard
get behind.
warrior.
Mhm.
It's a keyboard warrior that actually got tigers. So then she felt even
It's just
more
obvious that
self-righteous.
humans want to view tigers in cages, whatever the motivation.
But
Just-
she just made herself into the legitimate alternative,
Yeah.
and she's a hack. In her first interview segment, she says,
What
"Oh no,
keeps me
I'm
up at
allergic to
night?
cats."
I'm allergic to cats.
what
yeah.
keeps me up at night
Yeah, she says, "I'm
is
allergic
just
to
that
cats."
one of my members of my family. It's gonna be.
Well,
Can you take that one again? I didn't manufacture enough bullshit tears. What keeps me up at night? Let me think about when my mom died. Let me think. Okay. Take 3. What keeps me up at night is that one of my members of one more time. My puppy died when I was young. I can get the tears. Come on, just somebody throw me some fucking Visine.
At some point, I'm going to
I'm
have
not
to
making
interject
them.
because he's just going to keep going.
Take 4. Okay. But those were fake tears. It was fun. It was fun watching her try
You
and
did all that-
manufacture tears.
You did
She
that.
was. You know that it was just like Doc, except for he didn't show it all.
But her entire house is marble, tile. It's all hard surfaces and hypoallergenic.
Yeah.
And she's always wearing leopard print.
Yeah.
Oh, all of her stuff's cats. Yeah, leopard print,
Yeah.
cheetah print.
Which, did you guys see the Bleacher
Tiger print.
Report video that they put on? I know they put it on Twitter of somebody on 2K made Joe Exotic and
Oh,
Carol
yeah.
Baskins as teams, and it's Joe and Doc alley-ooping each other in tiger print uniforms, and Carol and her husband in leopard print. And the commentary was outstanding. But okay, we got to do it. We've danced around it, man. Carol, let's do Carol's backstory.
Yeah.
Because she started by meeting this guy.
Yeah.
She
On the side of the road.
Her story. She's ran away from her abusive current relationship. She's walking down the road, and a millionaire just picks her up on the side of the
Yeah, how
road. Never
much
met before, and he's like, "Oh, I'm having a bad night. Will you just talk with me?" Which is, this sounds like
Code
how
for
my
butt sex.
toxic ex-girlfriend would say how, oh, I just was hanging out with them because of this.
Yeah.
It's just straight bullshit.
And then,
I don't, yeah,
and then
I have a hard time believing anything any of these people say.
But
Right.
and then so she marries this guy who has, because they interview his his former financial officer, who says he was worth like 20 to 30 million, and she marries him, and he was into animals, and he was doing some of this stuff, and so she kind of picked it up. She ran with it. It moved into cats, and then he's just gone on a plane trip after a plane trip to, where's he supposed to go? Costa Rica or
Yeah,
Cuba?
because he was getting him from
Somewhere. Yeah. But he was flying
island.
to a Central American island and never came back, or did he even take off? And early on, there's the scene of Carol, all time catch, mid-sentence catch, when she says, well, if I was going to, well, an easy way for someone to get mauled by a tiger was if the tiger smelled salmon or extract or whatever it was. It's something.
Sardine oil.
Sardine oil. That's what it's sardine oil.
No, dude,
she
that
catches
wasn't even-
herself mid-sentence.
Dude, that was later in the fucking show, though. That's what's even funnier. Is I feel like because she does not show up for a good portion of that show, and then just pops in for that part where Joe gets attacked by that tiger, and it's just pulling him by his ankle, and she goes, They wouldn't attack like that.
Yeah.
Unless he was covered in sardine oil.
Yeah.
And then everybody just like, what? Covered in what? Like, so you would know about this?
The producers did a really good job of setting it up as introducing the characters, giving Carol an episode of, like, this is what she does, this is what she and her husband do, this is her prior altercations with Joe. And then for 3 episodes, we kind of just ride the Joe train. And
Yeah.
you just kind of see everything
That sounds
go
like a shitty
on.
train.
And yeah, and the only
Oh my
the
God,
only
dude.
mentions
Welcome to the
of,
dining car on the Joe train. All we got is chili and fucking Triscuits.
you know that he at one point during sex has said the words Joe train.
Joe.
Um,
Jesus. Because I can see. I know.
Look at that.
Ah!
If he's a
watch
power
out, boys!
top
Here
or
comes
power
the
bottom.
Joe train.
If he's a
If
top
he's
or a
rubbing
bottom.
one of his bullet holes.
Rub it. Yeah.
One of his bullet hole
Oh my
tattoos.
gosh.
Yeah, dude. This,
White wedding.
So the stuff with Carol's first husband, the family wasn't.
Oh,
like,
his
Yeah, he
family
left
was
the whole
so-
family.
No, his family was down to trash Carol, and his family immediately was like, "Yeah,
that bitch.
their relationship. Every relationship has problems. They weren't perfect, but things were going kind of in the way that she wanted things to go from his businesses. And then we found out that there were 2 living trusts." And when he died, the one that was in power was saying that the family gets 10% and 90% of everything goes to Carol. And they tried to fight it, and she just took everything from this family, which is horrible. And then she marries a Harvard law guy, which, impressive. You know what he's here for. He's doing the finances. He's cooking the books. You know it. They're litigating everybody.
Mm-hmm.
It's an interesting dynamic.
It's just she. I think what they did with that episode of just giving all her stuff, all her backstory, really helped paint the picture that there are no good people in this documentary.
Yeah, everybody's a little iffy. There's a few.
But
we'll get into a few
the
good
three
people.
the 3 owners that they talk about with Doc, Joe, and Carol, they're all horrible.
I haven't seen anybody good yet so far.
There's good character. The people that had to work for Joe, unfortunately, were good people,
There's-
but they're in
I
a bad
don't know about
situation.
that. I don't know about that.
The long hair sunglass caretaker
Well-
definitely just got railroaded through this whole process.
Well,
I
also,
have to watch more of it.
we're forgetting to talk about Here Kitty Kitty.
What does he say he was doing?
Here
I just
Kitty-
got out of prison, man. I saw this thing on Craigslist.
That's
I
what
was
they
like,
did.
What the
That's what he
hell,
did.
man?
That's absolutely what he
Joe
did.
just farmed the prison system and just took these guys that just get out and puts them right in the thing.
Oh, okay.
Makes them live in squalor, doesn't pay them well.
Awesome.
So again, you're
Oh, I knew that because they were talking to Doc, and he was like, it takes about $10,000 a day. And then they talked to Joe, and he's like, about $3,000.
Yeah, he said $3,000.
we
but
worked
that's 'cause
real hard to
he
keep
gets
that down.
he gets his meat off of
Yeah,
The Walmart
expired
truck.
Walmart.
The road. Yep. Well, yep.
He says what it would take 30 cows a day to feed his tigers. So
he'll get a couple cows here
I
and
think
there.
you know what I realized
But
maybe
then,
is
yeah,
the ultimate lesson of this whole limited series, even though I've really only watched like 1.5 episodes. I think the ultimate lesson is that people shouldn't have these animals.
Yeah. I think absolutely.
Oh, by the way, the first episode when they're talking about Zanesville, Ohio.
That's a crazy story.
I actually lived in Ohio during that. That was the summer. I moved there in the fall of 2010. I was living there that summer, that next summer.
What a tragedy.
The guy nobody knew about it, but the guy committed suicide.
Yeah.
And before he did, he let all, what a dick.
He
lets all of it, he
40 or
bears,
50.
wolves,
You know what was fucked up about that
monkeys,
time, though?
lets them all out and then kills himself.
We were close enough that it was for like a week. We didn't know, like, if you were getting into your car, I mean, is there a fucking tiger out there?
Oh my God,
You
that
don't
sounds
fucking know.
horrible. Yeah.
We were close enough to Zanesville. We were in Athens County, but it was just like, I was pissed because not only are all these animals, because the order eventually came down to kill them all, because what else are you going to do?
You have to.
Yeah, and then they're all getting killed, but also like, hey, let's commit suicide, and then even though my life is shitty, I'm going to go ahead and maybe ruin a bunch of other people's lives.
Dude.
And these animals.
Dude, you know what's
What
crazy?
a dick.
Speaking of zoos right now,
Yeah, that was weird.
have you heard about what some zoos are having to do?
No.
They're feeding the animals to each other. Like, it's gotten so bad at these zoos where they're like legit having to feed the tigers and shit other animals.
That's why you always eat the sushi at the zoo, because it's the freshest.
But that's so crazy.
Dude, this penguin is
the world we live in
fresh
now
off
with
the
this stuff.
bone.
Seal. I bet seal is very flavorful and greasy, I bet. Blubbery. Yeah.
It's still, even after watching
Can I
this,
tell you guys a zoo story after this?
Do it.
Go ahead.
Right now?
It's your show, man.
Oh, that's true. So we were at the Denver Zoo for my birthday one day, and there's a huge enclosure up on one level, and right next to it is this little like glassed-in area of a little pool where the otters are. And my girlfriend at the time was a huge otter fan, loved otters, right? And we went up there, and the otters were nowhere to be found. And you could see there's a little place where they tunneled off to their own private area, right? And so we start standing there, and we're just like, we're going to stand here until they come out. And then a couple more people came and stood with us. And before long, there was like probably 8 to 10 people with us standing there in front of this otter enclosure. And every so often, the otters would like stick their heads out like, ah, fuck, man. God damn it. Look, hey, they're just going to stand there. Come on. And they literally came out, swam around a couple times, and went right back in. Like, fuck, are you fucking happy? I was trying to fuck my girlfriend, you know? God, otters have no freedom. We just have to come out and perform for you guys. So it was good. Good time. But they came out.
They're very intelligent, you know. And
Oh, yeah.
Maybe they
You
did.
seen the GIF where it throws all the blocks, where it's like stacking
Oh,
the
yeah.
blocks? It's like, get the shit out of here, kind of thing.
They're like, hey, fine, let's just perform. Just fuck.
Anyway,
So we have Carol, we have Doc, we have Joe. There's one other zoo owner that's introduced early on and then totally just thrown aside until the final episode. The guy from Indiana who's always carrying a monkey and shirtless. I can't think of his name.
See, I
he was
didn't get that
he was a drug lord, and he
No, not that guy. Not
Oh,
in
no,
Miami.
no.
No, the guy.
Oh yeah, the other guy,
Yeah, who comes in
Later at
as
the
a
end.
partner, but at the beginning you see him and it's like, oh, that's a scary, dirty monkey man.
Yeah.
And
Scary,
he's like,
dirty
yeah, I've got all these.
Is that like
animals."
homeless cyborg mutant skaters?
But he's
Yeah,
the one.
pretty much. Yeah.
He's the one where these animals are being like, it's like monkeys in raccoon trap size cages. Is this guy? And
Yeah.
it seems like it's the really bad one. But then the more you meet the other people who have turned their businesses into, from animals to real estate to multimedia,
Yeah.
like Joe and like
Trying
Carol.
to get a reality
this guy's
show.
actually
Yeah.
still I'm just living with my animals and just chilling with my. It doesn't seem like he's actively and financially really profiting off of what he was doing, and so he's kind of the most real out of the group. Where it's like, I've driven as far as California and sold him a tiger, and we just live here in Indiana.
He's the most humble. Him and
He's most straight up, that's for sure. That
Him-
dude says what he is thinking.
and the drug lord character. I can't remember his name.
Scarface
Just call him
dude.
Tony
The Scarface
Montana.
guy. Yeah.
Scarface dude, once he found out that, you guys aren't I'm not being investigated, this isn't about me. Oh, cool. And I'm going to get 20 minutes where I just steal the show. Oh, get a shot of my house.
And then you find out that he's like the most sane person in this documentary.
Well, he's the one that like didn't let it get to the next level of entrepreneurship
No.
that Carol and Doc and Joe did. He
Well,
just
he was
kind of
also smuggling drugs through animals.
right. That was
snakes.
his entrepreneurship. He just kept these animals as a
That
hobby.
That was his hustle.
Yeah, he was busy. He was busy with the white stuff, man.
He's like, wait a second, you're gonna give me time to tell everybody how Tony Montana was based off of me?
yeah,
Oh yeah, no, I'm totally down for doing.
and he
this,
like owns an ostrich
documentary.
like just for fun. You know, like not like these other guys who are
Didn't
actively
he confess
breeding.
to killing a guy? In this?
No, his friend. They were trying to show that part in Scarface where they tie him up in the shower. And,
With the chainsaw?
Yeah, but no, the story he told was that somebody
such a good
else
movie,
killed
Scarface.
somebody and brought it to their house, the body,
Oh, yeah.
and somebody a lot crazier than me was like, "Well, let's burn them and chop them up." It's like, well, they're already dead, so I don't. Honestly, you're not that impressive.
He was so chill.
Yeah,
He was so chill.
they're
though.
already dead.
He was he was just relaxed, laid back. Like, bro, I'm retired. I made it through the life. I'm just chilling in my beach house with my animals.
I've got a hidden fucking basement that none of y'all know about with about 80 fucking pounds
And
of
there-
high grade kush.
and there's always somebody in the room with me that is packing.
Yeah, there's always a bodyguard.
Yeah.
Always.
You know it.
What's Saeed?
He was great.
Yeah.
But then you really get into the roller coaster of the Winville. Is it Winville? Winville County? Or Winville Greater Area Zoo?
I'm trying to
What?
remember.
Where Joe Exotic is?
Yeah.
Winneville.
Winville, yeah.
Because I think it's Wynne.
So,
Winnewood?
I don't know. We got to circle back to the
You
guy.
gotta circle back.
Producer.
Well, not him. We'll get to him too.
yeah.
But the guy that lost his arm.
Mm-hmm.
Woman?
the-
Staff?
The
Saf. Yes.
Yeah.
Whatever.
she's identifies as a male now. He. Oh God, I hate.
It's
It's hard. It's confusing sometimes. So he lost his arm.
She.
Stop doing that. You're just trying to mess with me. And that's where we really get the whole thing of who Joe Exotic was, where you talked about, where he puts on the EMT jacket and he's like, "Hey, I'm gonna be real with y'all." That person,
Hey, I'm gonna be real with you.
somebody just got their arm bit off.
He
by a tiger.
had that EMS
Yeah,
blazer
it's Winnewood.
waiting
Yeah.
for the opportunity.
He knew it was gonna
He was
happen
like,
at
"Oh,
some point.
there's gonna be like a tornado or something." He didn't think it would be a tiger mole. You know, he thought there would be a tornado or something, and he would have the opportunity to look so good
Listen,
in
I'm
that
just worried
bomber.
about my big cats, man. Let me drive my RV around in front of this tornado a couple more times. Fuck.
He's smoking a cigarette with his hip cocked in that bomber, and
I
and
shoot
you know
you before I shoot any of my damn tigers.
he's got a pose, man. He's balling.
Yeah.
Okay.
But that's the thing is, he's scheming. That's his scheming.
Oh,
like,
he
how am I
was-
going to get out of
The
this?
wheels were spinning
How
faster
he
than the
can stop
hamster
him,
was
man,
running.
yeah.
Hey Joe, what do you
Because-
want us to do right now? Well, right now, just go back doing your chores. All right, get
Yeah,
back
just
to
go
it.
do your chores. Don't put your hand in the cage.
Yeah, don't put your God damn it, son of a bitch.
Well, that's the thing is, he had to do that because this was after he
Of course,
said.
somebody else's arm. Yeah.
Well, it was after he said on the news that if somebody wanted to come and take his tigers, it would be another Waco.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
and
And then
that
the
was-
sheriff is like,
that was
well,
so early.
fuck.
What? Yeah.
That
yeah.
was so-
The
so
sheriff's
ever
reaction
since
in his area, he's watching the news. He says that the sheriff is sitting there eating dinner with his wife, and he just turns to his wife and he's like, "Well, fuck. Did you hear that, honey? Well, shit. I guess it's time to call the FBI."
He when he
they
says
fuck-
that, and the interviewer says that's a very serious statement. I know it's a very serious statement.
I know it is. Listen, hey, I don't take the words "another Waco" lightly. Okay.
They view,
when she was actually doing his job as a cop. So
but
that's
Yeah.
the alt
You
right,
had a point too.
the hardcore alt right groups and individuals with those leanings view Waco as their personal Alamo of that area.
Yeah.
This is what you did to us, and we will never forget. Never forget Waco and the Alamo.
I would
you
urge
know?
people to look up Ruby Ridge if you're talking about Waco.
Oh, yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Ruby Ridge is crazy too. We'll
We
definitely
can talk about that on an episode.
He got
yeah,
shafted.
we'll definitely.
He got straight entrapped. Same as Joe.
Joe got entrapped for sure.
Joe got entrapped. Same as I'm never gonna think of his name now.
Dude, you know who
Randy Weaver.
You know who
Yep.
we haven't talked about yet? We're gonna get there. Jeff Lowe.
We're gonna get there.
We're
We're
gonna
gonna
get
get there. We're gonna get
So
there.
Is he the guy who's like the
He-
handyman on TV?
No.
That's somebody else.
Yeah. This guy has never done a day's work of manual labor in his life. But we got to go through first.
if the
Jeff's not even around yet because Joe's doing his thing. He's doing his nightly show where he says how he's gonna kill Carol. If
Very-
he could.
Just-
He's
Hey,
saying
it's
we're
Carol's
gonna put
birthday.
this snake in her house.
I just went up to the mailbox and it just exploded.
Which
with
he-
snakes.
He has a mannequin that he shoots.
Yeah, that was dumb.
He straight up, without knowing,
Let's put explosives.
incriminated
between
himself
legs.
every time he did that.
Yeah.
Because you show that to his jury, they're going to be like, this man is crazy.
Yeah.
And he really wanted this woman
I
dead.
just want him to be asked about it in a way where he goes, in hindsight, maybe it wasn't the best idea.
Maybe.
To every night to make a song about how she killed her husband in a music video with a Carol lookalike
Throwing
feeding
meat to a tiger.
food and a mannequin arm that is obviously like in sardine oil that they give to the tiger. It's amazing.
Oh, they even go as for that goes back into the Carol stuff about her husband. Everybody that works with these tigers were like, it would be a perfect crime. They would eat that body and disintegrate it in their stomach acid within minutes.
And then this leads into Joe's legal battles with Carol because he bought the website domain.
Oh my God!
Big Tiger Rescue, or what was it?
No, it was literally Big Cat Rescue Entertainment. He added one word.
And she gives him cease and desist or whatever. And they're gonna subpoena like all of his electronic files because he's been recording everything for years, not unlike Richard Nixon or Jim Jones.
It's like it's
Okay.
like white trash Watergate.
This is what people that are too smart, people that think they're smarter than they are do things like this, and it ends up screwing them. Because then he's like, oh, we got to get rid of all the electronic files and get some money for these legal fees, and whoa, this building caught on fire in the middle of the night. So now let's get to the Gators.
So
Let's get to the game.
I love it. I'm so glad you took over because I'm glad because you were more into it than I was.
You got to flow with the episode.
Because you built a great theory that I want you to share with us.
Oh,
What is the
this is
so
serious.
let's talk about how it was depicted in the documentary, and then you give your theory on it. Okay?
Yeah, it's basically just like
So-
a random explosion in the night.
Yeah. This whole episode is focusing on Joe Exotic having this producer character shoot him so he can get a reality TV show.
Shoot him.
The guy in the black hat.
Yeah, no, I know.
Like not like shoot
Hey,
him.
like camera shoot.
film.
Yeah,
whatever.
this is the guy who worked for.
Sorry,
What, are you gonna shoot him with a gun?
He
I
worked
hear
for
shoot, I
CBS.
don't
He
hear
was a
film.
big time producer. Like
Yeah,
he
he
was.
did,
Yeah, he worked with legit.
He did
Bill
nightly
O'Reilly.
news.
Yeah, did Bill O'Reilly show? He's
he-
produced on
Our producer John is a nut.
Yeah, they showed
It's
clips
a
of
John. It's a John dog or.
that. But this guy. Well, okay, yeah, they're doing. They're,
look at
they're
this-
giving you the
look-
producer backstory.
You mentioned it. The framing of his interviews are shot different than everyone else's. Everyone else, it's better lit. It's better, everything looks great. But where his, he's looking, like you mentioned, he's looking off to the side. He's like leaned back, just smoking
He's
a pack of cigarettes.
Chain smoking the entire interview and downing espresso, like at the same time.
Oh yeah, he's drinking coffee the whole time.
Yeah,
Yeah. So he's definitely a shady looking dude.
Yeah.
he wears a lot of black and he wears a lot of wide brim cowboy hats, which comes with the job, of doing a lot of outdoors producing. But you get to this the alligators building, which is where they had their studio, where they had all their equipment, that goes up in the middle of the night, and these
Just
poor
goes up in flames.
reptiles trapped in a burning building, just boiled alive.
That's
They
so,
lost 7 alligators that burned alive in this arson. And then they interview the fire chief, and he's like, "Oh yeah, there's accelerant. This is arson. We have no leads, but we know that this was a man-made fire. If you guys know anything, let us know." And they have the one footage of somebody walking that night, and it's a gangly person. Could have been Joe, but it could have been the producer who they said was Joe said somebody said that he was offered money to get rid of the evidence and burn stuff, and he said no. He was offered like $1,000,
Right.
and he said no because it was years of his work because he was trying to sell this to a cable network.
Well, he mentioned something
as a
about
show.
getting the rights to the archive, didn't he? Or something like he owns the digital files or something like that.
Yeah, he
There's
owned
some-
everything.
Yeah, it wasn't
Yeah,
property of
Joe freaked out because Joe tried to fire him, and he was like, all right, well, I'm going to take all this stuff. And he was like, well, you can't take that stuff. That's our footage, and that's our equipment. He says, Joe, like, look at the contract. Everything that I have, like, used, I own. I own all of the footage and the equipment.
Mm-hmm.
And Joe freaked out, and then the place caught on fire. And then the guy, he said, I felt scared for my life because people said I did it, and so I just got in a truck and never turned around, never went back there. And then I found out that his interview in that cafe takes place in, was it Norway?
Yeah.
Norway? Yeah, Norway, because he has fled the States
Awesome.
because he found Joe because he was trying to break his crack addiction from the 80s. And
Joe's crack addiction?
no, the producers.
Oh, awesome.
He's trying to break his own
Crack is
addiction.
crazy, man.
And so he goes out to the desert of Oklahoma to kind of find himself and maybe get a job at producing at a local place. Finds Joe, starts doing drugs again because they're all doing drugs at Joe's place.
Yeah, everybody's doing meth, crack, weed, everything.
And so I really believe that Joe or somebody offered him money to burn it down. He took the money and then fled.
I had no idea he had a crack addiction. I didn't know any of that.
Yeah. He had a backstory to
I
where
could totally see how people could get addicted to crack.
he like found Joe while
yeah.
he was trying
I've
to
heard about that,
rehab.
No, I mean
in
from
nature.
first-hand experience.
Yeah,
It's fun.
anybody that I've heard
Gets
that
really
has
high.
done
Crack.
it
It's fun. It's fun to smoke crack.
they had a great time.
Okay.
But
I got some stories about that. If you
It's
want.
the after.
it's the thing that you do to your body where you're like, oh, I shouldn't be doing this.
Mm-hmm.
No, actually, your body's like, why aren't you doing more of this? And that's the problem.
That is addiction.
Yeah.
You saw that with some of our characters, like Joe's. Let's get to husband number 2, which is definitely Joe's type. Is 19-year-old dark
Oh my
shaggy-haired
God, his
boys
story is so
with
sad.
with thin goatees. Yeah. So Joe, I guess I don't understand Oklahoma law. If this was just a ceremony or if this was legal, but he had a plural marriage with 2 men that they had a ceremony for that he said my husbands,
Joe Trade.
and they all had tattoos of each other's names.
Joe Trade.
Yeah.
But it seemed like husband number 1 kind of tolerated husband number 2. He was like, I'm the one doing
I'm the one getting the Joe
work.
Train tonight. God damn it!
Yeah,
You had Joe Train last night.
because
I am the alpha of this
what's
relationship.
his name? Dustin Dillon was his name.
I don't.
I think it was Dylan.
I don't know.
The
shirtless one?
Yeah. No, the other
Oh,
one.
God, I can't remember. I'm not doing.
I think his
terrible
first husband
names.
was named John. if I'm
Yeah,
not
the first
mistaken.
one is John.
I think if I'm not mistaken.
Meth
'Cause he was-
mouth.
He was in the
Isn't
he was in
Dylan-
the first episode a lot. And
Dylan's
and
the last
he talked
one.
about his husband like John.
Yeah. Anyway,
But he just basically, it didn't seem like he did a lot of work there. He was just shooting guns and riding 4-wheelers around and everything.
smoking weed.
And then we get to 2015, 2016, which seems to be 2 very important years for Joe Exotic. Number 1, because Jeff Lowe comes into the picture
Oh my God.
as somebody who
Jeff Lowe.
a mysterious benefactor was how Netflix put him in the summary before he was initiated.
No, yeah, he Jeff Lowe is terrible, man.
On the surface,
They're all bad.
On
They
the
are all
surface,
bad.
though, Jeff Lowe seems like he's got it. He seems like he's introduced as
He is
goes
a
to
Monster
Vegas.
Energy drink can personified, dude. I'm surprised.
that
I'm amazed his name isn't Kyle. His name should be Kyle.
Is he a closet juggalo?
Oh my
Oh,
god!
he's not a closet juggalo. He's probably out and proud that he's a juggalo.
But he's the kind of guy that brags about use pussy to get pussy. Is that what he said?
Something like that, yeah.
To
Do
where
you know, juggalos are some of the nicest people
Oh, yeah.
in a crowd I've ever met. I was scared, but they were really nice.
Juggalos are actually pretty nice people. They're not a gang,
You do
by
wanna,
the way.
You do want to
federal
shake him
government.
and be like, "What the fuck is wrong with you wearing that stupid makeup?" But then it's like, "Hey, you didn't, beat me up with all your little buddies, so thanks."
They're good people.
Here's $1. Go get a fag.
What are you? Stop. I knew you were gonna say Fago.
Okay, go.
All right, so
Paul's just sitting there like, "Is this what the fucking show is?" Because I'm.
somebody
sitting there,
better pull the plane up.
what the fuck?
Somebody better pull this plane
Tell him
up.
to shut up. I'm
We
talking.
got to get back to no turbulence here.
Getting a little shaky, folks.
But Jeff is
so Jeff-
introduced as
I'm calling him Kyle.
as a guy that bought tiger cubs previously from Joe and would smuggle them into Vegas hotel rooms and then show them to girls to get them to go up there and have sex with him and his girlfriend. Yes.
Yeah.
Use pussy to
Is
get
his
pussy.
girlfriend hot?
I think she's attractive.
So why would you work
Yeah.
to
She has
add
her
a
qualities.
tiger?
She.
Because Jeff is not hot.
No, Jeff's not good.
Jeff
looking.
is very portly. And he is
Um,
not he is not seen without a bandana and
a hat. A flat bill that's on the very
flat
top
bill
of his head.
up top like he's Justin Bieber in 2007, so that you can really see the bandana that he's working
Because he's
underneath.
hard like that.
Is he
Yeah,
bald?
He's got to be bald, dude. He's got to be.
looks like
just
he
like Bret
saw
Michaels action.
he saw
Like,
50
Yeah.
Cent in 2004 and said that's how men dress.
for the rest of my life.
Or I think you're onto something, Tyler. I think his idol is Bret Michaels.
Tony Hawk.
Tony Hawk would never wear a bandana.
Tony Hawk is
Yeah.
is-
Oh no.
is cool.
He definitely.
Bret Michaels is not.
He definitely is a poison guy. He was like, yeah, they rock. Man.
Nothing but a good time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because he is just a
Every rose has its
So,
thorn, man. It's so
How-
true.
I must have missed this. Why do they meet? Why do him and Joe? How do they connect? Because Joe is getting hit financially really
Right,
bad at this
right.
because of the lawsuits with Carol. They kept dragging out based on his big cat rescue entertainment lawsuit. They just kept going and going and going. So he doesn't have a lot of money to keep all these legal fees.
They kind of keep that a little gray, but
Then we bring in Jeff.
But what I do understand from Jeff being brought in is that I'm pretty sure they sold him a tiger, and then he was kind of interested of, hey, how does this work? Because he's a guy that obviously would immediately
How
be
does this
interested in black market trade.
Oh,
he's
so
a,
he's shady.
let's talk about the tiger. Let's
Yeah.
go ahead and do an autopsy. See how it works.
he's a guy that his ears perk up when he thinks he's found a way to make money without doing work and no taxes. Jeff is
Yeah.
a parasite. Jeff is a straight up
Sorry,
parasite.
Yeah,
my
he's
ears
a
just
horrible
pricked up.
person.
What did you say about making money without doing any work and no taxes?
Exactly.
Oh.
And he's
Jeff's
just
terrible.
You can tell he moves from one thing to the other. He burns his bridges and leaves.
Burns bridges, spends all the money he can from it, and then goes on to
But
his
he
next
comes
scam.
in and they never say how he got his money. They never say that if he's got a lot of credit or if he's
That's
actually
what I was
got
wondering.
money or
How
anything.
did he have the money to
He's-
help Joe?
He's got money and he comes in and he sees Joe's. I mean, obviously, legally, he sees Joe's operation as a real estate venture that he can become a partner in and eventually can get a profitable revenue
Well,
from.
'cause-
But under the table, I really think he was thinking, I can be the Scarface of the tiger trade. And because he's a guy that wants to do things under the table. He's a guy that wants to do it illegally and shady because he can get away with it. Is really like
Yeah.
he's got this smirk at all times. He says, at the very end, he says, I've been hearing for years that they're coming to get me. And he looks around and puts his arms out and goes, where are they? Are they coming? I don't see anybody. And he's just this cocky dude that thinks he can't be caught.
So he needs to meet Deadpool, is what you're saying? Is just
He thinks he's one of those guys that I guarantee.
He thinks he could hire Deadpool.
Right. Oh, he's one of those guys that you see that has one of those Walmart basketball jerseys with Deadpool's logo on it. He's those kind of people.
I have a
personified.
basketball jersey of Cookie Monster's face.
I have a Toon Squad jersey.
Like a
Yeah, number
tanked.
one.
Okay.
I have a
do you have a
football
jersey?
because I'm a grown up.
No. Do you have like a jersey, like a tank top thing? Because we should all wear them and go to the farmers market this summer.
I have a Paul Pierce
it's
one
possible.
too.
What?
Truth.
Why are we wearing jerseys at the farmers market?
Oh, I always go bro tank to the farmers
Oh,
market.
dude, my bro tank is awful. You guys will not want to be seen with me.
I have a Macho
literally-
Man
It's
one.
awful.
Anyway, back to the show.
Somebody that would love bro tanks, Joe, and Joe's husband,
See,
not Jeff.
we are talking about the show. So anyway,
But then Jeff comes in and just throws money at this zoo, or Jeff comes in and is throwing money at the zoo, and Joe tries a publicity stunt where he's like, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to run for president.
Joe Exotic 2020 or
Joe Exotic
2016.
2016. And he starts legitimately running a presidential campaign. And where does he find his campaign manager? The guy who is currently managing the sporting goods department at the local Walmart. He got the guy behind the Walmart gun counter who has a poli-sci from Oklahoma State or something. Like he had a degree in politics. He was interested in this, but he was working at Walmart. He's the most normal guy of the whole series to me. The most intelligent, head on his shoulders, just I do my job and these people are crazy. Was his campaign manager who witnessed death.
Oh my God.
But we will get to that.
We haven't even finished.
Joe Exotic's 2016.
So while that Jeff stuff's happening, we have pretty much. So we have the Doc Antle stuff that's going on as well, where we go to Ames, Iowa, of all places to start this segment of talking about Doc Antle and how he ran things. There was a woman that lived in Ames, Iowa.
They basically portray her as somebody who escaped a cult.
Escaped a cult, absolutely. They spin that yarn.
They are sitting in her living room, treating her like somebody
Cyclones fans?
Yeah, she left Scientology and is now being interviewed
Says the Hawkeye
about
fan.
it. That's what it seemed
Did you hear
like.
what he said?
Yeah.
Talking about Cyclones?
Yeah, she came back, man. She didn't want to.
She's a survivor, dude.
She didn't want to stay in Clemson country. She came back.
Clemson.
But yeah, so her whole story in describing all this stuff that happens is just fucking bonkers. So
Doc is like where Joe uses prison labor. Doc uses college labor.
Yeah.
To where he doesn't pay you. You live on his.
You live in a
land.
horse stall.
Yeah. But it's like
$100 a week is what they got paid.
But these people act like it's just their
working
FFA
18-hour
students.
days.
They're just FFA students taking care of horses at the county fair.
Right.
It's how they think of their job. They're like, oh, it's a summer internship. I'm having a blast, you know?
And then you realize, well, Doc has this nice house. Well, but you really notice when Doc has a nice house.
Can't leave?
Probably.
That girl left, the one that they interviewed left.
What I'm saying,
But what I'm saying is what you start
They
to
don't
realize.
make it easy. You don't have transportation. You don't have money.
Like Scientology, then.
I mean, I would say it's something like that for sure. He definitely feels like he's running a cult because you can leave, but then you also realize Doc has this nice house
with a mirror on the ceiling of his bedroom,
and it's like, well, maybe if I.
Which comes back to he's definitely an orgy guy, dude.
Yeah. You know it.
You know he is.
Men, women that work, because they're working, like I said, 18-hour days for shit pay, nothing for pay, really.
If Charles Manson's plan of having a desert compound with hot chicks had come to fruition, at this point,
would be Doc
he would be
Antle.
Doc Antle. He would be Doc Antle because he's a 60-something dude that's just like free love, man.
No.
Doc Antle is totally into like that, what is it, Yoga City or whatever that when they first start talking about him, and he talks about how he
his
that
guru
because his name
dude.
is Bhagavan.
Yeah, his name's Bhagavan.
Shut the fuck up.
His name's
man.
Bhagavan, and he's they call me that. I think it means teacher, and he's like, no, it means God, and you gave it to yourself.
The Bhagavad Gita, douche. Also, I've been to Fairfield. Anybody been to Fairfield? Those people are fucking nuts. All right, sorry, but yeah.
Yeah, jeez. Doc Antle, what a guy.
What a douche.
What a guy.
Yeah, and he's getting his comeuppance, you know. But we'll get to that. We'll get to that.
His uppance will come.
Back to Jeff
and
the campaign. Joe, I don't know how he got the publicity, but he's being interviewed by a very, very open individual, flamboyant, who's interviewing him like for a magazine or
Wasn't he on
show.
Hollywood Magazine twice?
Yeah, he said he was on the cover of Hollywood Magazine twice. And he's got like poster-sized
like framed up
frames as well. Yeah.
Wait, where is that magazine from? Oh, it's from Hollywood,
Florida?
Oklahoma.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So
Hollywood, Nebraska.
Yeah, Hollywood.
I'm a big deal over there, man.
The readership, the circulation is almost 1,000.
But he's being interviewed for a gay publication, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
And the interviewer says, is America ready for a gay, polygamist, pierced, tattooed, tiger-owning, redneck, gun-toting, mullet-wearing man as president? And Joe, like, seriously thinks for a second and goes, yeah, I think they are.
Honestly,
Dude,
And
he has.
it was like in the way that it's like back and forth. It's like it's like the gay 60 Minutes, where like his question and how he answers. It was like a 60 Minutes promo.
Yeah, like it was super
you know, like
serious.
I was just waiting to hear that.
Dude.
no, yeah. If you take gay out of that, I'm surprised we don't have one of those yet.
Right,
I
exactly.
mean, seriously, I'm a mullet wearing, gun toting, straight
Polygamous.
tiger wearing, polygamous.
Well,
Oh fuck! When
his,
can I vote for you every month?
his
We had one
presidential
of those. It was Bush.
his his presidential
Sans mullet.
almost.
Hey, he was a college yell leader,
Hey,
man.
listen, man, we don't have to have a mullet, okay?
I think
I'm the decider. I decided not to have a mullet, okay?
Dad told me not to have one.
Donald Rumsfeld's piece.
I always. Damn it, Don.
God damn it, Donald, you fucking.
Anyway,
Okay.
so his presidential announcement video is the greatest thing I've ever seen because he straight up goes, "I'm Joe Exotic. I'm gayer than a $3 bill. I like to shoot guns, and I'm running for president." And he says some other stuff. He's like, he shoots shit that blows up.
Yeah,
and it's like,
he's constantly like shooting things, and
it is so funny.
easily he is his like local gun store's favorite customer
Okay.
because
Oh,
he
yeah.
just puts it on the company card.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I forgot to show the scene where he just walks in and goes like, "Oh, this shit will blow up." Like,
And he's like, "We're not done blowing stuff up today." He says that too, and it's wild. And then he starts going in every like local town's summer parade in on top of a limo, Joe for president, and it's incredible. He's got the local Walmart sporting goods guy running this campaign, sitting in an office, constantly being harassed by the emasculating other gentlemen that work there, to the point where we have a very interesting situation one day.
oh my god. So this,
I don't know. Do I want you to spoil this for me?
This is,
yeah, you might as well.
I mean, you're here.
You're here. Yeah, you got no say in this.
You're an hour
Yeah,
in.
you got no say, bitch.
So yeah, he's sitting there, and one of the husbands,
The second husband,
The
the,
second-
young one, the fun-loving one that just smoked a lot of weed and didn't work.
yeah, it
The
was.
second one, okay.
Well, it's you find out that he wasn't allowed to leave. Joe would not allow him to leave the compound,
The second
the
husband.
zoo. Yeah,
Okay.
and
Oh yeah, they're fenced in, locked in.
yeah, and
Yeah.
John had more freedoms than
And we have
husband
lots
number
of
2.
guns.
Yeah, they're armed to the teeth. But he's talking to him off camera, and he brings in a gun.
Well, they're not even on production camera. That's a surveillance.
That was
camera.
surveillance.
So
footage, yeah.
there is just this posted
There's no audio.
corner of the room surveillance camera onto the desk of
The campaign
the
manager.
campaign manager, and it goes to him in an interview, and he says, and he came in and he pointed a gun at me, and I said, "Dude, we've talked about this. I don't like it. I don't care what you guys do. We've talked about this. Do not do that to me." Being the safe guy, the guy that
right. No.
he legally sold guns for Walmart. Like, I believe he's probably a very
he's gonna
gun-safe
know
individual.
They're not toys.
Yeah, and he's saying, "Don't point that at me. I don't care if it's empty. I don't care what you
Yeah,
say.
you never point a gun.
Do
at
not
someone.
point it at me." And the husband goes, "Oh, well, it's a Ruger, dummy. And if there's no clip in it, obviously it can't fire." And he goes, "Watch. See?" Puts up to his head, one in the chamber, and the camera, you're watching this. The camera is,
seeing
you can't
just
see
the
anything.
campaign
You're just
manager.
watching him
No,
seated.
there's no audio either.
But you see a flash, and it's like your only point of reference is the running timestamp on the security camera, because for a minute and a half,
manager is just
for a minute and a
got his
half,
hands
he's
over
just
his mouth,
covering
like,
his
shocked.
face. He's
Which is-
moving in his chair like
Yeah.
super slow, like
which is
oh my
what
gosh.
everybody would do.
We've never had anybody shoot themselves in front of us.
But it was-
especially when they weren't expecting to.
you know
was
how
an
horrifying
obvious-
that would fucking be. To
obvious
see that?
accident. Yeah, obvious accident. But and then
Wasn't
thinking
an
he was just
accident?
pointing
I mean,
that
the
at
guy
me.
was fucking around with a gun.
Well,
You're not being
What if he
safe.
would have like clicked that at me?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, right, exactly. And I don't know if I think it was an accident in a way that
The accidents
He
happen
thought-
with drugs and guns.
that's he may have thought,
His
oh, it's
brain
empty,
was-
but still had a gun.
His
bullet
brain
in
was
there.
telling him. His brain was very aware of the fact that there's a bullet in this gun, and his brain was telling him like, "Hey, there's no bullet in this gun. because I want to be free of you because you're too stupid and I can't live like this anymore. So there's no bullet. And you're so confident that your brain is making you so confident that there's no bullet in this gun because your brain wants to die that you shoot.
Well, no,
brain.
yeah, they definitely portrayed it that his life was not good with Joe. They really went into the thing of
I was saying
he
that
pretty
his
much.
brain is too stupid, but yeah, I mean, if
I know what you're doing, but
if you're in an abusive relationship, certainly.
I think he might have done it
I used to work
subconsciously.
for a women's crisis center. There's a lot of that. I mean, you wonder why people don't leave those situations, and it's because they're fucking terrified.
Exactly.
Like
yeah.
they have made it to a point where the only person you know is your abuser. And the only places you're allowed to go is where your abuser can keep an eye on you.
Yeah.
And you don't, even though you can go to the store and shit like that, like the idea of leaving doesn't even occur to you because he'll kill your mom, he'll kill your dad.
Yeah.
I mean, it's serious shit.
Yeah.
I get that, but I mean, that's still, it's a tragedy. That,
I still think it was.
if that is the case, that he literally was just subconsciously like, I can't live like this anymore. That's a fucking tragedy. I don't mean to make light of that.
Yeah, it's definitely like the darkest part of the show.
You mean the live death?
Yeah.
pretty can only
graphic.
go up from there.
Paul's like, yeah, the live death. You think?
But
No, that's what I mean. It's like I can only imagine what that campaign manager saw because me just watching it secondhand, I was fucking horrified.
Right.
I was like, oh my god, because nobody ever wants to see something like that happen. Nobody, no, that's horrible thing to happen, and it was just like Jesus.
Right, and
it's
then
a lot worse than
and that's
what they
where
show
my-
on movies and TV too. I guarantee you.
That's where my brain
Lot
kind of
more
flipped.
bloody, lot more gross.
I flipped a switch on that where at that point, that's when I stopped rooting for Joe Exotic. That's when I was like, this guy, I think, abused this man so much that he killed himself. And I know it's not fair to put the blame on Joe, but I do think he played a role in it.
Sure.
And that's where I stopped.
he's not he doesn't seem like a compassionate partner.
No, because within weeks he was dating another dude and married this guy.
Yeah, he went go to his funeral,
Yeah.
and at his
Jeez.
funeral, he's talking about how big that man's balls were while he's in the casket with his mom right
With
there,
the
front row.
family all
and
around.
And then a few months later,
he sings at the fucking funeral.
yeah, he sings.
Oh, no.
Oh, my God.
He invites dead husband's mom to the wedding of his new husband, and then never talks to her again. Just as the public, like, she's okay with it, you guys should be okay with it,
Right.
kind of thing, which kind of sucked. But that shows you Joe's in it for Joe, and
Yeah, Joe doesn't
and
care.
public's perception of Joe.
And that's the thing is the three main owners of these zoos, they are all in all of this for themselves, and they're all really bad people.
Yeah.
Because this was never about animals. This was never about helping convicts. This was never about giving these girls this like FFA type experience.
Say
like
no
we
to
were talking
drugs.
about. Say no to all this stuff. All of these are just lies.
All these
To
initial
inflate their
excuses.
egos.
I must reiterate, anybody who's like, hey, just say no to drugs, you haven't done drugs, so you need to try some drugs. Because you might change it from just say no to, it kind of depends on what you're being offered. Hey, you want some meth? No. How about some wheat? Sure.
I guess. Some
Maybe.
booze? Some booze?
Learn, instead of just say no, learn to say maybe.
We'll see.
It's Nancy Reagan's fault, right? Right, Jake?
That was before we even started this podcast, that joke. So,
Nancy Reagan.
long story, Paul. Paul is so confused by that inside joke about Nancy Reagan.
I'm confused about it. Anyway.
So we get to the part where he's singing at the funeral. We talk about that.
God, that's so funny.
Then Joe decides, you know
I
what?
saw a tiger and this man's balls were huge.
I loved him.
I loved. Hey, Mama, did you know your boy had huge balls?
I mean, like, tennis ball.
I could almost fit one of them balls and mouth.
So we're at the funeral. Then he decides to say, hey, man, I still got that political bug, and runs for, was it Senate?
He switches it to governor because his
governor.
presidential bid is not gaining steam or publicity.
Also,
So he
his
switches to
campaign manager is
governor.
Freaked out.
Yeah, and he's running for governor, which is also a big flop.
He got 19% though,
Yeah,
which is a lot more than I would have expected.
but that's where
In Oklahoma?
it really starts freaking, like the conflict starts building and people start freaking out, because during the campaign is when there's videos of Jeff like getting in his face and freaking out on him and saying like, you're out there spending this much on campaign stuff and moving money to that from here. People are going to find that. You're going to go to jail. I'm not falling for you. And he's getting on him and everything. And then it really actually starts the whole murder for hire conversation with because Jeff brings his handyman, who is obviously like just a lifetime felon. What's his name? Andy?
Oh yeah, the bald guy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
With the teardrop tattoo.
Yeah. He looked like every cliche like movie.
Is it
prison
NoHo
guy.
Hank
Maybe.
from Barry? Is that him?
I need to watch that show.
That's great.
And so we get introduced to this character where you're like, well, yeah, this would be the guy that you would hire to murder Carol Baskin. The problem I have
He's like, I got a cap though. I can do it for $3,000 or less.
yeah, which he should know that the
Which is
same
about
money.
how long it takes how much it takes to feed a tiger per day.
Well, that's what I'm saying. That money that he could buy another tiger with, he's buying a hitman. And the best part about this story is when later on when Doc Antle was like, Joe didn't know what he was doing. Who spends $3,000 on a hitman?
A stupid person.
How would you know about
Yeah,
this, Doc?
Doc's like, he just obviously did not look into Hitman's Classified this month and saw the lowest listing was $20K. Like, Doc just knows people,
Yeah,
man.
he could have somebody killed if he wanted.
Doc could call a real, like, killer.
Yeah, he's got a hitman on
Doc's got a guy.
fucking retainer.
Yeah, Doc's got a guy.
So
They start this plan, but it starts out as Joe just always saying, oh, I'd kill that bitch. And
well,
then
here's the thing. This is after Joe loses the Senate race, and he took all Jeff's money and put it into his run for governor. Jeff finds out, freaks out at him, on camera, by the way, which is super awkward. And then that's where we get to this part where now Jeff's trying to think of how do I undermine Joe and get the zoo from him.
Yeah, and they're talking about how to kill Carol. And Jeff pulls up the Google Maps or the street view of like where her house is, and they find where she posts all her videos from, where she bikes to work from her house on this trail, and they go through the maps on Jeff's computer and say, well, you just sit in your car right here in this parking lot and shoot her when she goes by and then drive off. Super easy, super quick.
Perfect crime.
Yeah, and then later on, Jeff's like, oh, I didn't do anything. I mean, is it a crime to look at Google Maps? Because that's all that I did. I know. And
You framed this man.
and he says, is it a crime to maybe push somebody in the direction of a crime?
Yes.
Yes.
That's
Called
seriously.
aiding and abetting.
Yeah. He is.
Obstruction of justice.
Jeff is a criminal. Like, they're all criminals, honestly. But Jeff straight up framed a guy and was so brazen to come on this documentary and, like you said, throw his arms out like, well, they're never going to get me.
And now he's taking requests where you can send him like $200 and he'll make a custom video for you.
He's doing the cameo
Sports
thing.
Fanatics got a video made by Jeff saying, hey, Ross and Chris, heard you guys were talking about me. What do you say? I think he said, I heard you guys were talking shit about me on your show. Don't you know I have like 200 tigers? And, like, he makes a joke out of it while actually
I heard
owning
about that.
the douchery.
Yeah. But in your head, it's like, this guy's still a dick and you shouldn't give him money.
Yeah, he says, and then they get to him like after, we gotta get through this,
Yeah.
and then we'll get to the real Jeff's a dick stuff.
This is
But
going to be our longest episode.
when,
Sure.
yeah.
I can keep going.
So they go with the handyman, and the handyman disappears, and apparently he just drove home to the Carolinas from Oklahoma instead of Florida, and spent the $3,000 on strippers and alcohol and blow that Joe gave him. And he was like, "Yeah, I chickened out. I didn't do it."
That sounds like
And
me
then-
at 32.
And then he's hiding out at home, and there's calls from Jeff to him saying, hey, we just got to make sure that we make it clear that we're getting Joe down for this and we're going to come out free of it. And they talk about just making Joe the fall guy.
But we haven't even talked about the guy on the jet ski.
How could I forget?
How could you forget one of the biggest crucial characters in this story?
Businessman. This guy is
Paul is now leaning forward.
He's a rat. He's a thief. He's a snake. He's a child. Oh my gosh. So this guy becomes Jeff's middleman for the Oklahoma community of his local guy, his guy on the ground of like, oh, I know people, I have connections. And this guy's shady too. He's introduced as just businessman, and they go into his shop, and they go into his like business shop or whatever, where it seems like he's got a lot of odd machine parts and a monkey in a cage. And he's like, yeah, so I was
This is a rotund dude with like
yes,
a very rotund man with
stringy ginger hair
with
down to his shoulders.
The owner of the Raiders haircut.
Yeah.
Davis. Fucking what's his name?
Davis. Something. It's Al Davis's son.
I'm firmly convinced that there's a
John Gruden.
international cabal of hairdressers who cut rich people's hair, and they're like, fuck these motherfuckers
to make it look bad. Yeah,
that's an episode.
Boris Johnson. Yeah, there you go.
That's not fair though, because Trump's always had bad hair.
But this guy says, yeah, these federal agents came in and started pushing me about this monkey in the cage, and my lawyer said that you're going to go to jail for this monkey. And so I was like, well, I got these bigger things I can help you out with. And so I just started talking to him about Jeff and Joe and the zoo, and that's when I made the decision to become a state's informant. And he just like totally underlies the fact that he's like, yeah, I couldn't go down. Like, I wouldn't go to jail for something minor by myself. I have to take other people down instead. And there's no way that it was about this monkey.
No,
this dude is obviously a shady businessman. I bet he does a lot of illegal stuff. They never say what he
I bet he
actually
does like political stuff. Like, he gets involved with everybody. Like, he's a shady individual.
He is definitely a money launderer for his community.
Oh yeah.
And he's like, yeah, it was about a monkey. But this is the kind of guy where you can't take him seriously.
On the jet ski.
Yeah, he gets this slow-mo, and where he was like, can you guys
film this?
Yeah.
Exactly.
He asked for that because they're not organically at this lake in Oklahoma.
It's like
lake in Oklahoma.
Dude, it's like fucking B-roll that just is spliced in between his interviews of like this guy just slow-mo riding on a jet ski.
And it looks like the music for CSI Miami should be playing by it.
Or like fucking Baywatch.
Like Highway to Hell starts rolling through behind him. He's so shady. He sells out everybody he can. He lies about everything.
Paul, I think we just made a TikTok.
Oh.
Of the jet ski guy with different music behind it.
I like it. Mood scheme.
We said it on the internet, so we own it.
That's true. This is
law.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we got the federal guy, or the informant, whatever, the state informant. Got all this stuff. So Joe goes down because
I had to wear a wire.
They found out that he paid the $3,000 to have Carol killed.
But they have nothing besides circumstantial or just hearsay, and so what they do is they have Mr. Businessman Sleazeball come with a Fed to Joe and say, hey, Joe, I heard what you're looking for, and I found this guy. And he'll do it. And so then you have the act of money exchanging hands for a crime to be committed.
Which, by the way, again, Jeff Lowe's shady friend, who at one point is doing his interviews in a bathtub.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, there's some interviews where he's obviously drunk.
And you see that, and you're like, dude, that's like the 9th weirdest, craziest thing I've seen in this stuff.
The interview from a bathtub. But
that's normal.
but it's almost like he asked to be interviewed in the tub because it's the nicest thing he owns. Was that
Right,
it was a
that
nice
one tub.
It
It
was
was
a
a
nice
nice tub, yeah.
I'm between couches right now. Can we do this in the tub?
Yeah, it's either on my lawn chair. He was either sitting on a log outside or in his bathtub. That's seriously the two places he got interviewed.
He's like, look, I won't get naked or nothing. I'll wear
I've got a
swimming trunks.
personal battle going on right now with Rent-A-Center, okay? So let's just do it in the tub. I'm not going to have a couch for a little while till this is settled.
Stop making it weird that
All
I
right,
got.
my
I got
taxes
this.
will be here any day now, and then I'll get a couch. Tub.
I like to soak when I'm getting done playing with tigers, man.
So they get Joe for the murder.
Me and Aaron's aren't seeing eye to eye right now.
He is he's sitting in the jail in Oklahoma.
Yeah.
And Jeff is like, yeah, I'm the owner of the zoo. I'm just going to move it. And so he enlists.
Because he asked the businessman,
Yeah.
where should I, if
Yeah.
I were to move the zoo, where should I
And
put
Mr.
it?
Businessman says, well, we should go further south towards the Texas border because Oklahoma's poor. Put it near this
And then-
casino that gets a lot of traffic.
Yeah, and you're going to get a lot more
You get a lot-
Texans coming over
you
the
got
border.
you get people from North Texas. You get people coming to the casino that stop by and see some wild animals.
Yeah.
And it's actually very smart business plan.
No, it's a good idea.
But the implementation is not good because he brings in Mr. Indiana Hillbilly Zoo monkey owner, and this guy is in a skid loader with a monkey hanging on his chest. No shirt, cargo shorts, and flip-flops, and a monkey on his chest, running a skid loader.
Was he really wearing flip-flops?
Yeah, dude.
Oh, my
He
God,
was
that's
just
horrifying.
He
Why
was
would
just
you-
out here chilling.
I would never do that. That's so
And he's like,
horrifying.
"Yep, moving dirt every day." And he said, "And
Every
he
day.
he said he sounds so official. He goes, "Yeah, me and Jeff are business partners now. We're going in on this venture, and our goal is to eventually have the biggest zoo in America. We're just gonna keep adding on as we get the money, and we're gonna have spots for all kinds of animals. We're just starting with the cats." And it's seriously.
Yeah.
And then 30 minutes later, in that
Oh my
same
God.
episode, is Jeff. With this stupid little grin that this little smirk that he always has, and he's got his phone on speakerphone and just holding it up, and it's
He's
the
playing the
other zoo.
voicemail, yeah.
It's the other zoo owner going, "You piece of shit, Peckerwood, lazy ass fuck, you
Just berating him.
just verbally abusing him." And Jeff's just there like, it's like 3 minutes long, and Jeff says, "Yeah, I guess that didn't work out." And it goes back to the other guy, and he goes, "Jeff just thinks that he can have an idea and you'll do the work and pay for it and then he'll be your partner." And it's like Jeff burns bridges because he expects to just be like the puppeteer. And you're supposed to be like, "Oh my gosh, that's a great idea."
He
and
just
do the work.
wanders. He just wanders from town to town looking for his next scam.
He sucks something dry and then moves on.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
and I think he kind of got stuck with the legal responsibilities
Of
of
the
the
zoo,
zoo,
yeah.
and then it was like, "Oh, okay, well, I'll do something with it." But I don't think that he planned on being the long-term owner of the zoo. I think he was going to try to spot Joe out of legal trouble, get some money off of selling tigers third party illegally, and then dip out to his next thing. We haven't even talked about his Vegas incarceration and gun charge and everything, but that's kind of ancillary. It doesn't even matter.
Yeah.
But towards the end, like last year's interviews, his wife or girlfriend is pregnant, and he says, "Yeah, day after that thing pops out, gotta get you back in the gym."
Yeah.
And you're like, "Oh, okay."
And he's looking
Tool.
for a
And he
maid.
says, "Yeah, we're finding a maid. Look at that one. She's hot, isn't she?"
She can't be a maid if she's not hot.
He says, "I don't want her. If I'm gonna have to look at her every day in my house, why wouldn't I want her to be hot?" Like sitting next to his wife, saying this,
Who's okay with it?
who is just totally down, like gold digger. Just I'm here for the money. He's trash, because like she is not being sexually appeased by this man.
No way that
No
man
way.
is satisfying her sexually.
He is not a. He's just about satisfying Jeff. Jeff's
so it's like 30 seconds. He's
Jeff-
in, he's out.
Jeff's like a expecting the sandwich after sex kind of guy.
You're still here?
Yeah,
Listen,
you're still here.
Listen, honey, what's going to happen is I'm going to go ahead and spend about 30 minutes in the bedroom by myself looking at porn, and then right at the end, I want you to come in. Okay, then, yeah, that's
called edging.
That's the
honey.
only time I want you in here is right when I'm finished. 'Cause, so I have something to put it on. But
Jesus.
He's the kind of guy that's looking at nudes on his phone, just chilling, and then turns his phone around and say, "Hey, babe, when I buy you fakes, I want fakes like this."
Right.
And he shows her the
He's
nude.
Google imaging big tits. Like,
Yeah,
he's
just with a Z.
and it's not even incognito. He doesn't give a shit.
No, he doesn't. He
they're fun to
doesn't.
look at, but you wouldn't want to actually be with a. I mean,
No.
Fake tits.
He's
are
a
no
tool, and
point.
then with 2 minutes to go in the movie or in the final episode, they bring out the fact that Doc's had this rumor about a crematorium at his place for years because he breeds way too many animals for the amount of adult tigers he has because he pays people for like kitten pictures and kitten cuddles. So what happens to the ones that don't make it to adulthood? And he was like, no, that's not true. That's not true at all. And then like they end with the information that his place was raided December 2019. Yeah, so this is ongoing, and Big Cat Rescue's not happy with how they were projected. Doc's not happy with how he was portrayed.
Doc, they said that he had a
gas. Stop the lie about what Doc did.
They said he had a gas chamber.
Was it that, not a crematorium?
Or no, you're right. It was a crematorium. Yeah, I thought this sounded was a gas chamber.
But yeah, so he's just killing tigers.
The crematorium is the step after the gas chamber.
Oh, yeah. Just gonna walk past it.
Yeah, we'll just bring it full circle to they're all horrible people.
Yeah, no, yeah.
And
There's
people
no
should not
good.
be
There's
in
no
possession
good
of
characters
big
in
cats.
this show.
No, but there is actual.
There are good supporting characters to the story.
Yeah, like the political guy was just kind of thrown into a whirlwind.
I like the guy with the legs.
The guy without the legs was a really nice guy. The guy with the long hair.
Yeah. Oh no, he was kind of sketchy because he didn't want to go to court. He was super sketched out about having to testify in Joe's case and going to court, and he still wears his sunglasses and just like.
That's a guy that's been in prison too long.
Yeah, he was super uncomfortable being around a federal setting, and that was obvious. But yeah, those people, poor people got railroaded.
Oh yeah,
The workers.
The worst thing about all of this is those people can't realize how they made everyone around them into victims of something horrible. The animals, the people, everybody. And like with the Doc Antle stuff where they talk to that woman from Ames that they lure these kids in, these women in to do this thing called Tigers, which is again like a wildlife thing. And they bring them in, and like I said, you live in a horse stall, you get paid $100 a week. But if you want to live in the big mansion, you got to have sex with this man. And
that seems like an easy deal, right? You know, to a 20-something.
Right.
It's like, oh, cool, yeah.
And it was,
I can just get down a few times and have a nice place to sleep.
And
very sad.
We also forget to touch on the fact that neither of Joe's husbands were gay. They were.
What?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. What did he say? He says,
you ain't that straight.
Yeah. He says he would ask guys that he was into. Because we already talked about his type, and his last two husbands show he had a definite type.
Yeah.
He would say, when you watch porn, do you pick the porn with the big dicks or the little dicks? And then when they said, well, they like watching the porn with the big dicks, he would say, well, then you're not that straight.
And which is funny, but it's still bad because
it's all fun and games
until you realize he fed those people their addictions.
Yeah, he slips you a little too much to put it in your butt for the first time,
Wow.
and then you're just in
the
relationship.
He definitely was very predatory with these men.
Absolutely. He was predatory with these people's money and these tigers.
Well, that's the thing. They're all predators. Every one of them. Because the Big Cat Rescue stuff, you find out she didn't pay her workers. That was all voluntary work. And you're right. She manipulated
at the beginning of this show when I was talking about that first part you talked to her.
Yeah.
And she's walking through that line. Dude, not one of the words spoken by anybody, her or the people in line, is genuine or sincere.
Yeah, they're all fake.
They're all fake.
Her volunteers are set up on a tier.
She's
on
one
their
of my
shirts.
heroes.
Yeah, they're set up on a tier based on colored shirts, and she says, "Oh, I don't even know the names of people under the green shirts. They're here for a few months and they're gone."
So she's running a cult.
Yeah.
Doc's running a cult.
Doc's running a cult. She's running an enterprise.
There you go.
She's running. She's running an enterprise.
I'm running a
Final frontier.
non-profit with that has
are the
nothing but
Voyagers.
volunteers. But all the money goes to me, but it's for this non-profit.
Yeah,
really.
right.
Yeah, she's fronting for her own profit. Doc's fronting for a cult, and Joe was fronting for publicity.
Yeah. Oh man, have you heard about the Tiger King? This guy with the tiger. Yeah.
Yeah,
it was all
with his
about
own
that.
webpage. And they said he never got more than 100 views, 200 views on his nightly streams, but he upped it so much because he cared so much about being a celebrity and an online presence.
Which makes me worry about myself because
we're starting down that road.
yeah, I can relate to
Dude,
Joe
I've been working on this for a while,
a little
man.
bit. Where I've God knows how many times I've started podcasts with people or done things with podcasts, and I've had a very, very small amount of success, very, very minimal amount of success. But even that little bit, I was like, I want more of it. I'm addicted to it. I want it.
Keep grinding.
Yeah, and
But
so
don't grind like they ground.
But yeah, Joe went about it the complete wrong way. Yeah, Joe did some horrible things to people. They all did. They're all guilty.
They
in my
are.
book.
Yeah. And so like
So your big theory was you thought the producer burned down the alligator house and then ran off with money.
yeah,
Oh,
he's
like
international, dude. He's gone. He's in the wind. Dog couldn't
insurance
catch him.
fraud.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could see that.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know,
Insurance fraud in this country,
No-
you might as well murder somebody. I mean,
yeah,
that's how
pretty
bad that crime is. Wait a second, you stole money from a fucking insurance company?
How
Are
dare
you a
It's
monster?
weird.
It's a weird.
Why don't you just go up to the top of the Empire State Building and throw a bunch of babies off, you monster? Jesus.
That's like how you
Everything is-
That's like how you can be
God.
put in jail for taking money from a company you own, which is somehow illegal.
Embezzlement?
Embezzling,
In the,
yeah.
Yeah, I
yeah,
know.
from
Progressive is not rich that you can just take money from an
Yeah.
insurance company.
So yeah, I could see
Yeah.
him committing that because nobody wants to get caught up with insurance fraud and all
Now
that.
I want to commit insurance fraud. What do
Because
you
nobody
guys think?
goes to Norway for fun.
yeah, he's not in
I
Norway.
want to go
for
to
fun.
Norway, but I'm Norwegian.
That's the only
Paul's
reason.
a little bit Norwegian.
Yeah.
but-
No,
Yeah.
he's just a Vikings fan. He thinks he's
No, I truly am. I truly am.
All right, so yeah, I think that one's probably true. I really do, and I'm very much of the mind that Carol killed her husband.
Oh, Carol definitely killed her husband. But I saw the hot take on Facebook of maybe she did, maybe she didn't, but are we going to trash this woman who ended her abusive
Yeah, I saw that.
relationship with a guy who met when she was 19, he was in his 40s? And I was kind of like, "Okay, I get that." Yeah. So, and that's the other side of it where
Yeah,
there's two
Well,
sides
yeah,
to
I
every
mean,
coin.
was she groomed? I mean, the state of mind that she was in. I mean, when I was talking earlier about working for the crisis center, all I did was canvas, but to raise money. But we learned a lot, like about a lot of the aspects of domestic violence and things like that. And there is an argument to be made, despite whatever this series makes her out to be. There's an argument to be made that before she might have victimized others, Carol might very well have been a victim herself. And does that mean that she had victims of her own because she? I mean,
yeah.
Right.
No,
right.
yeah,
you could
see,
go backwards from any
Right.
monster and be like, well, what happened in their childhood?
Well-
yeah, but still, they killed somebody when they were old.
anytime you hear about a serial killer, almost every time it's their upbringing.
I don't think it's
Yeah.
too big of an assumption to say that most abusers start as victims.
Oh yeah,
Right.
absolutely.
But say
there's
over
plenty of-
50%.
There's plenty of victims that grow up to be not abusers.
Absolutely.
yeah,
Sorry, I mean, to
it's
me,
just it's. Oh, your phone went off.
It's about how you process
Right, and
what
it's-
happens to you.
And if you're given the right environment, you can overcome those things. And I think, I don't think they don't really talk about it in the show, but I don't think you're that far off, Tyler. I mean, it's very possible that she didn't have a very good childhood.
right? But
Because I mean, look at her husband, her current husband, who is a cuck.
oh yeah,
And I don't mean that in a negative way. I'm just saying
who's your current
he
husband?
has-
I haven't got that
he's
far.
such a beta.
I hate using those terms, but he really has no personality, and all of his character personality is from Carol, and that's not a healthy relationship.
No, it's not. But everything we're saying, giving her the benefit of the doubt of maybe why she killed him, that kind of goes away for me when she manipulates his will.
Right.
That's
Yeah.
By
That's
no
not
means-
a I need to get out of this.
By no means
kinda
am I
move,
absolving her from her actions. My main argument with that, hey, well, what happened to them? My main argument with that is, like I said, there's plenty of people who have gone through worse or the same thing and who don't end up monsters, who don't end up killing other people, who don't end up abusing other people like they were abused. So I at a certain point, it is about free will. No matter what your upbringing told your free will to tell you, it's still your free will to do that monstrous thing as an adult.
Well, and
So after that point, you're not a victim anymore. And like, oh, poor Carol Baskin. I'm sorry, but now you're a victimizer.
Well,
And there's no getting around that. I'm sorry.
it's also the fact that all
Therapy is cheap. You know, I mean,
all three of them
nobody dies that way.
led their own groups of people, and I think
For their own ulterior motives.
for their own
Right.
motives, and they all abused
And
a
they
lot
all
of people.
reaped what they sowed.
They did.
Sounded like it.
They did.
But this was still fun talking about it, though. They made for good TV. I'll
Was
give them
it?
that.
It was. It was. Thank you guys.
It gets dark at the end. I'm sorry.
Thanks for having me on in
It's dark as
crossover
shit,
week.
man.
Yeah, this is fun. I like doing. We rarely do movies, so it's nice to do. Well, I guess this is the series, but it's always fun to talk
It was
about
very
this stuff.
cinematic.
Yeah,
The
and
writing was impeccable.
it was
Acting,
good. The fact that it was like 5
A+.
years worth of footage, and they somehow managed to get it down to just 7 hours was impressive.
But I love how it started with him, the director, investigating the illegal snake trade in Florida, and a guy to bring this full circle.
Oh, and the
we're
cat.
ending at the beginning. He's investigating the illegal snake trade, and this guy that buys a python says, "You think this is cool? This ain't nothing. Come to my van." And he's got like a
the snow leopard.
he's or what is a clouded leopard?
Yeah.
Because he asks, he says, "Are these as rare as snow leopards?" He says, "Oh, these are rarer than snow leopards." Panting in the back of a van in the
not
Florida
if they're
sun.
acclimated
dog-
to Florida.
Yeah,
in a fucking
No,
dog
you
kennel.
fucking idiot.
yeah. This mid-sized cat in a dog kennel, and
You
that's
just want
what
to
starts
strangle
it down.
that dude. I'm sorry, but you just want to grab
No,
that guy,
yeah.
shake him, and be like, "What the fuck is wrong with you?"
And
I would
just-
do. I would do the same thing.
Just
And
like
then-
how
and
they
then
started.
Release the snow leopard cub and spray sardine oil on the guy.
Yeah,
Maybe. Well, that's the thing.
Eat
I don't.
up, little guy.
I don't understand. Even take out the money aspect of say you have the zoo or whatever. Just say you just want to fucking buy a tiger. What would compel you in your brain that you want to buy a tiger? You know why people have dogs and cats? Because
that's why we have domesticated animal laws in this country.
exactly. There's
You
certain
donate
animals.
a bunch of money to like an animal preserve.
Right. Spend the money on sanctuaries and stuff like that, and
Hey,
don't.
Carol, if a 400-foot cage is not enough for a tiger to live on, like she says at one point,
Which her conditions were worse
which
than Joe's.
She's standing in front of a 400-foot cage. But if that's not enough, then why aren't you taking the money that you get from this enterprise and eventually releasing these tigers into an animal? Well, they wouldn't survive. Yeah. Well, whose choice is that, Carol?
Yeah,
Yeah.
she's got an
Is it yours
excuse
or
and an
is it
answer for
theirs?
everything.
Yeah, I know,
And it's very
that's-
convenient.
you know.
And that's the kind of.
But take the money that you would buy a tiger, donate it to a place where
Right.
they can name a tiger after you.
Yeah.
They'll put your name on an enclosure, but
get a plaque at a zoo. I don't know.
But the lesson here is do it the right way.
do it the right. Yeah,
Do it in a way that is actually for
I'm
the
just
animals.
saying-
Own an-
a lot of
fucking
people
tiger.
that really care about this stuff, that care about the well-being of animals, they'll do that. They'll donate money to something important. They won't try and buy a tiger.
If I
and
were to-
have a rescue reserve that they
I-
don't let the animals out.
If I were to own a big cat, it would be a cheetah or a lynx.
I'll get a cheetah, man. But
Cheetah,
if it gets
seems
out, it's
like,
out, man.
It seems like cheetahs are a little more laid back than other big cats towards humans. Like you can see a lot of videos of, they just seem like they're always just panting and chilling, and you can pet them and they purr. It seems like cheetahs are a little more, if they're raised domestically, they're a little more approachable than how you always gotta watch your back with a tiger,
Well,
bro.
a tiger.
A tiger or a
you,
you
lion.
can you can feed that tiger
you
from
seen
a bottle
the
its whole life, and you
skull?
always gotta watch your back.
Have you
with it.
seen the
it's a
skull
predator.
of a tiger? I mean, the jaws alone. I mean,
Yeah.
it is a 500-pound killing machine.
What?
Yes,
What
designed
cats
to
would you
kill.
guys have?
What?
What cat would you have?
Oh, I'd have a cheetah too.
A cheetah?
Yeah.
Or
I'd
a
have
lynx?
a
Or
tiger.
or a
I like
panther. I think a
tigers.
panther would be dope.
But that's not. We were saying cats, not raccoons.
A panther?
Oh, I thought you said panda.
Oh. You know what's interesting about tigers is they won't attack head on, face on, like humans. They prefer to attack
They're
humans
stealth. They're hunters.
from behind.
Yeah.
So in Bengal, where a lot of tigers are, and there's a lot of workers like in the
Is that in
jungles and stuff,
Cincinnati?
they wear
The Bengal.
It's actually the souvenir shop across from Paul Brown Stadium is called Bengal, and all the workers
With
there
two A's.
have to deal with tiger attacks. Jake,
Oh,
they have to
Jesus.
deal with tiger attacks every day in the downtown heart of Cincinnati at this place called Bengal, and so they wear masks on the back of their heads. And the reason why is because it reduces the number of tiger attacks.
Because they
if
can
the
see a
tiger
face.
if the tiger sneaks up on you and sees a face, it's going to be like, fuck no.
Yeah, he can see me.
That's the thing.
Isn't that fucking cool? I think that's one of those like little animal facts that's fascinating.
No, it's cool because I think tigers know. They're like,
dude.
I could easily fuck up a human. This is not fun for me unless I'm playing
Right,
a game.
yeah. if I'm not fucking destroying this thing without it knowing for a couple seconds, then it's just not worth it.
Dude, I chase gazelles for fun.
Right.
I could fucking take you out.
Yeah.
So, tigers.
Oh, you trying to juke me, gazelle?
What was yours?
There's your guts.
What was your cat?
Huh?
What was your big cat?
I would say tiger, but honestly, I wouldn't own a big cat. But if I...
But yeah, none of us
No,
would.
none of us would.
I would say
Spoiler
tiger
alert. I hate to break it to you, Tyler.
We're not
I-
buying each other tigers.
I've always been a big fan of tigers since I was a little kid. My name is Tyler. When I was a little kid, my favorite animal was tiger.
Frosted
'cause
Flakes,
it's red.
great cereal.
I have orange hair. You know, that type of... whole lot
all
of
the-
reasons.
all
to like
these
tigers.
connections. So now you got to go finish the doc.
We've already told the whole thing.
Yeah, I know. It was fun telling it with you.
Yes. Thanks so much,
It was
Paul.
fun listening to it across from you.
Tyler just had a smile on his face, like, I can't believe this is.
He was the listening
serious
audience.
thing.
He was the active audience.
Yeah.
I was also the one that was like, hang on a second. Let me sing a song.
I saw a tiger. So, yeah, thanks so much for listening to another episode. You can get us on Spotify, Apple, wherever you get your podcasts. You can follow us on Twitter at Tinfoil Radio, Tinfoil_radio. You can also follow Loud Sports, the other part of this crossover, at Loud Sports Pod. That's up on Spotify, Apple as well.
All your bullshit.
All the bullshits. And, yeah, thanks for coming, Paul. Tyler, thanks for doing at least
It's so...
some
the
little bit of
availability
research.
is so crazy. It's available on the moon.
Yeah.
Like if
The
you're on
hollow
the
moon.
Yeah.
We'll get to that.
You're like chilling out.
Whoa.
We'll get to
Back
that.
to good conspiracy theories.
Yeah.
Can't wait to hear it.
Yeah, we're gonna start getting back
Moon
into.
landing.
Will you shut up? Getting back
No.
into. See, I have to do at least one episode. Thanks so much. And if you've heard this,
Well, I didn't know. You threw me off with the whole "will you shut
it's
up?"
our
But I was trying to,
catchphrase,
like,
buddy. If
Do it. You gotta do it.
If you've
All right,
heard
we're
this,
already dead.
We can't land this plane
oh
yet.
my God, start
already-
over.
we're already
Take
dead.
two, Tyler.
Okay.
And if you're hearing this,
We're already dead.
no,
You're-
you're
Oh.
no, yeah, we're already dead. No, I'm just kidding.
Somebody's dead. I know.
What is my problem?